Hey guys, so I apologize for being out today. I'm sure you are very upset. Um, but Molly's daycare has a stomach bug going around, so I am staying home with Molly today. It's not, I stayed up way too late watching the Super Bowl. Actually, currently, it's still going on. So, what I wanted you to get out of the Geometer Sketchpad activity were these four properties. These are the new properties that we're going to be using for this next week. And there's still going to be a quiz on Friday on these things. So I expect you to be working on these. So, first off, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with two sets of parallel sides. Okay, it generally is a rectangle, a square, a rhombus, but they can be other things. If you think of it as like a slanted rectangle, that's what a parallelogram is. And a square, rectangle, and rhombus all fit this general definition. Now, every parallelogram has four basic properties. Now, those properties are opposite sides are congruent, opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary. Consecutive angles, meaning the angles on the same side of the line, and we'll get through that, are supplementary, means they add up to 180, and the diagonals bisect each other. So if you draw the two diagonals that cross in an X, they cut each other in half. They're not equal to each other, but they cut them in half. So luckily I am home, but of course I'm a nerd, so I have some whiteboards. So these are your first three examples that I had drawn for you. So number one, the directions say just find all the missing angle measurements and side measurements. Well, side measurements are the easiest thing to do, because if one side's 5, if this RS is 5, I can label this top as 5. This is 3, this is 3. And I can do the same thing for number 2. 12 and 7. Their opposite sides are congruent. Now, the trick is the angles. Well, opposite angles across from each other are the same. So this has to be 128. To get the other two, I use that other property with the consecutive angles. So consecutive angles are supplementary, meaning this angle and this angle, the ones on the same side of the line, they're going to add up to 180. So I can do 180 minus 128, and I'll get 52. So angle P is 52. Once I know one, the other one's going to be 52 also. I can do the same thing here. Okay. Apparently my light down here in my basement is washing this out, but angle B is 62 degrees there. And then to find A, which is the consecutive angles on the same side, all I do would be 180 minus 62, and I get 118. So that's 118. Angle C is 118 over here. Now, boom. Alright, so you notice that those sides that are along the same line, those are what I call the consecutive angles. Now, on the bottom here for 3, this is using that fourth property, the diagonals bisect each other. So the diagonals are not the sides on the outside, they're the lines that cross. Okay. Now AB is on the outside, that's 6, so I know DC is going to be 6 on the bottom. Well, these diagonals, you'll notice that they're labeled differently, but they cross at this middle point here. That middle point splits this line into two parts. So I know if this side's 3, this side's 3, this side's 4, this side's 4. And then I can find the total length of D to B as 8 and A to C as 6. I just double the one of those lengths. So the second example I gave you is analyzing a picture and using the correct geometric symbols. So the first thing we want to look at is we want to look and label stuff that we know. Okay, so I noticed that I got some outside sides here. Okay, so this one's 16, so the top is going to be 16. This side's going to be 10. This whole angle, when it has an arc all the way across, is 84. So this is going to be 84. I see some diagonals in here, 7 and 8. So I can label this as 7. I can label this side as 8. And that's really the quickest and easiest things that I can do right now. I have this random 28 in here that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But I can find everything else in here pretty easy just by duplicating it on its corresponding congruent part there. So all you have to do is go through and answer these questions. So HI, what's that length? Well, HI, I just label it as 16 because it's the opposite side of this one. So that's 16. Well, KH is opposite of IJ, so that has to be 10. GH, I labeled because it's opposite of this 8 here, so that's 8. HJ, oh, that's that whole length, H to J. So that's 8 plus 8, that's 16. Oh, now we get into the angles. And you got to remember, when I'm naming angles, 3 letters with the vertex in the middle. So this one says KIH. KIH. This angle up here. Well, here's the thing. The definition of a parallelogram means that it's 2 sets of parallel sides, which means I got a set up here and a set down here are parallel. And if you remember back, we can draw that funky V or Z whenever we have parallel lines. So this 28 and this 28 are congruent because they're alternate interior angles. So that's 28 degrees. Now, that you're going to find that a lot. So these 2 angles are going to be the same also, but we don't know what they are. Well, JIH, JIH. Now we're going to find that whole measurement right there. That's going to be a problem for me. So let's skip this one and go to this one. KJI, KJI. Oh, I labeled that one. That's already 84. Okay. Well, let's go to this one. Okay, I still don't know 17. That's alright if you don't know right away. Just go to the ones that you might know. HJI. HKI, sorry, is this angle right here. Okay? Well, here's the thing. You have to view this as a whole parallelogram, but also its given parts. And if you see, this is a big triangle that you have there. And I know this is 84 and that's 28, and this is the number I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 84 and I'm going to add 28 to it. We get 112. Then I'm going to take the 112 and subtract it from 180, and I'm going to get 68. Because I know the angles of a triangle add up to 180. So this is 68 degrees, which means the other side, 68 degrees, alternate interior angles there. So this is 68. Well, now let's go back to here. JIH. Oh, that's those 2 angles, the 28 and the 68, put together. So I'm going to do 28 plus 68. I'm going to get 96. So those are the basic properties, just using the numbers to analyze it. The next section is using algebra to solve. So check out those examples up on the top, and then check out the video.